Hey, what's up guys, John here. Party City is now closing 850 locations.
Party City, the company told corporate employees on a call today the business would be winding down operations immediately after nearly 40 years.
Party City CEO says they are winding down operations at more than 850 stores.
10,100 full-time workers be out of work and 6,400 part-time workers.
Party is over for retailer Party City. The company told corporate employees on a call today would be their last day of work.
So you're looking at 16,500 jobs gone. But then next door, you have the Dollar Tree. They have just committed to closing 1,000 locations.
Dollar Tree says it is closing 600 of its Family Dollar stores.
Dollar Tree is moving into dozens of closed 99-cents only stores.
Directly next door is Petco. Petco just got downgraded by the S&P from a B+ to a B-.
Petco, they are sinking today after slashing their full year guidance profit. That dipped to a loss in the second quarter.
Petco, a double downgrade today.
All of these major retailers are in very big trouble. Old Navy, owned by Gap, they're closing 350 locations. Directly next to Old Navy, you have Kay Jewelers. Kay Jewelers is also closing 350 locations. Next to that, Marshalls. Marshalls is closing 1,200 stores. So these retail centers are in very big trouble. The landlords, the banks that have loans on them, the employees that work at these major stores are in big trouble. Even the restaurants. Applebee's is closing between 25 and 35 locations.
Several Applebee's locations across the metro have abruptly closed their doors, filing for bankruptcy.
But let's look at really what this is going to mean for the U.S. economy, because I think we're walking into a major shift in this country for jobs, for lending, everything. Imagine for a second you owned this big strip center. And you're a really smart person, so what you would do is you would give discounted rents to the companies like Petco and Home Depot and Dollar Tree. Why? Because they're going to be able to bring a lot of foot traffic in, and you'll make up your money on all of these small chains. And this is going to make it easier for you to get loans. It's going to make it easier for you to really have security and stability, because you know the odds of these companies going out of business, very unlikely. At least that was the case 5-10 years ago. But now what's going to happen is as these stores start folding, a lot of these smaller stores next to them are going to lose a lot of the customers that were coming in. Meaning the value of this building is going to collapse. It's going to crash. That's what's going to happen. And the banks that have 60% loan to value, because everyone was refinancing these buildings in 2020 and 2021 when interest rates are really low, well, the bank might have to take a significant haircut if the owner of this building cannot refinance their property. And then what are they going to do? Well, they're going to have to sell it to the highest bidder. And this isn't just happening where I am. I didn't even plan this. I planned just to come to Party City. I didn't plan for every single major store here to be either closing up locations or going completely bankrupt. At the end here, you have Target. Target's closing stores. They claim because of retail theft and crime. But this is the truth. The truth is, in 2020 and 2021, when inflation started getting crazy, American consumers demanded that these profitable companies at the time increase their wages to offset the inflationary crisis that was not caused by these companies. And so the cost of labor went up. Insurance has gone up. Taxes have gone up. Retail theft has gone up. And consumer shopping trends have radically changed. Before 2020, people would buy online, but they weren't buying online like they are today. Now you can go online, you could buy anything and get it to your door in 24 to 48 hours. And you'll be able to get it for half of the cost of any of these stores. With incredible return policies, they make it so easy, and it's only going to get easier. You have Amazon, you have Walmart, they're doing drone deliveries. So you just start to look at this shift that's unfolding. And this happened a couple other times in America. In the mid 1700s, 97-98% of the entire US population was in agriculture. In 1902, that number dropped to 40%. Now it's between 2 and 3% of Americans are in agriculture. In early 2000s to 2010, people were moving to cities for jobs. That's what people are doing. They're moving to cities for jobs. Now, more people are moving out of cities than moving in them. Why? Well, because they don't really need to. They can live in the suburbs. It was affordable. They could drive in or take the train in. But you have to ask yourself this big question. If now people are going to be working remote, working from home, why do people need to live in the big cities? They're not going to need to. More and more people are going to be moving out because living in cities is very expensive for most. And they're going to be moving where they can that's going to be more affordable. These companies are going to continue to reduce costs and reduce expenses. They're going to be moving into AI. They're going to be moving into robotics. They're going to be moving into job outsourcing and pushing jobs to other countries, India, Pakistan, Colombia. They're going to be pushing them to Venezuela and all these other countries. And a lot of the people also that have been recently moving to America are going to be able to offer cheaper labor. So it's going to be a race to the bottom in many manufacturing jobs, and many, trucking, construction. A lot of these industries are going to start seeing a lot of downward pressure on wages. And so the rich are going to get a lot richer that are capitalizing on all these trends. That's why I moved to Ohio. I moved here because I see the writing on the wall. We're walking into an affordability crisis in this country to likes which we have never before seen. And I'm betting that we're going to see a lot of trends around this. Affordable properties, affordable housing. This is what people are going to want. They're going to want to be able to live somewhere and actually be able to eat at the end of the day. And most places in America, $500,000 house is like almost the average in this country. Who the hell can afford that? Really? With the high cost of everything, who's going to be able to afford that with all of these companies closing up? It's not just these retailers, because some people will say, look, John, the people that are working at these stores aren't buying $500,000 homes. Right, but a lot of these big companies that are paying people $80,000, $100,000, they're not going to continue doing that if they can find somebody else to do the same job for 30, 40, 50% of the cost, right? And as consumers across the board continue to pull back on spending, these companies will respond accordingly by reducing their expenses to try to survive. So this is what is going to be unfolding. This retail apocalypse has just begun. If you start to look at the big predictions of the future, they predict that in the future, kids won't be going to school, not on the bus, they're not going to be going to the public schools, they're going to be learning from home via remote learning, because they say it's going to be more inclusive towards where a child really is academically, and they're going to be able to tailor their lessons directly towards the skill level and the way of understanding for that child. And so everything is going to move in this direction of not really living in the big cities is being a requirement for most people. People are going to be working from home more and more and more. Companies are going to continue to reduce their costs, and smart entrepreneurs are going to be building out their businesses and investing accordingly because of these changes. I mean, it's just pretty wild to come here and look at all of these major stores that almost looked like they were untouchable a couple years ago, now seeing them all in significant hardship. It's really just crazy how much can change in 5 years. But I think what we saw from 2020 to basically 2025, or a week away, will pale in comparison to what we're going to see from 2025 to 2030. Like, they say that institutions are going to own 40% of all housing by then, and homes just like these will be the target. If you look at VA home loans and FHA home loans, those delinquencies are not getting reported. In fact, they're reducing FHA home loan payments by up to 25% so that they can report them as in good standing. So when you look at what's happening right now, what you're going to start to see here is a really big shift on what banks do, what investors are looking to acquire, and what Americans are going to be forced to accept as their new reality. Now think of it this way. If you were a private equity firm or a big investor, would you go out there buying tons of homes for $500,000 and $600,000 and $700,000? The answer is probably not, because you're going to have a hard time renting those out for $3,500 or $4,000 a month. Now, you might think, look, you don't need to rent them for that much money. If insurance keeps going up at the rate in which it is, in the next 3 to 5 years, they would likely need to rent it for for that much to be able to keep it profitable. But all these affordable homes that are $100,000, $150,000 in this neighborhood, you know, that on the other side is a really, really good investment. In fact, look, looks like there's a dumpster right here. An investor's probably buying that right now. Now, when they buy these homes, they could rent it for $1,600, $1,700 a month and still make an absolute killing. So this is what I think is going to be happening. Investors are going to be investing, smart investors, for the future of what's going to unfold in America. People are going to be forced to move somewhere or relocate to where they can afford to live. Retirees, first-time buyers, people that are working remote, investors are going to be looking for essentially a really good yield on their investment that's going to far outpace inflation. How many of those are reliable that are still out there, right? This is what's unfolding here, this major shift. It's not just Dollar Tree going out of business. It's not just, you know, Party City, Kay Jeweler. You have Marshalls, you have these really big stores like Target and Walmart closing certain locations, restaurants, Applebee's. It's way bigger than all of that. It's a major structural shift unfolding in society that we all need to get ready for. I mean, look at this house, right? Imagine buying something like that for 120 grand. This neighborhood's a little bit nicer than the one I'm investing in. Not much nicer, but like a little bit nicer. Ones I'm buying, my average price right now is about 75 to 80 grand. But these homes, you could go somewhere where I am now, you're making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year online, and you could pay that house off in 2 years or less, right? Where are you doing that in America? And I was looking at Downey, California, because we know some people in Downey, and I was looking, what's the average income per household? The answer is about $80,000, but the average home price is about $800,000. It's 10 times annual income to own a home. That's pretty insane, right? Before it was 3 times annual income. Well, here, you know, where I am investing, average income's $52,000, 52 grand, but the average home prices are about 80, 90,000. So you start to think about that, you're like, okay, it's about 18 months worth of income to buy a home in cash. Like they could, if they had no other expenses, they could pay it off. They didn't have to pay taxes, nothing, hypothetically, right? Where else are you doing that in America? You're not, right? So I think investors, everyone's gonna be chasing this. I just actually helped a client of single family investors buy a home. He's gonna own this property, an $87,000 purchase. He's gonna put about 3 to 4K. I'm gonna oversee the construction, 3 to 4K, clean it up, get it rent ready. It's gonna rent between $1,450 and $1,500 a month. Think about that type of return. The comps, a house just a few doors down, sold for $160,000. He's buying it for $87,000. So what's likely gonna happen is he's gonna buy this property, undergo the renovations, get it rented, then he's gonna be able to pull all or most of his cash out and still pull in after expenses about $700 a month. So hypothetically, let's say for example, he had a car payment, which maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. The average car payment in America is about $500 a month for a used car insurance. That would pay for used car payment and car insurance. And that would be a residual by buying a nice house. Look at this house here. Like that's a nice property, right? There's tons of deals just like this throughout, you know, where I am right now. So if you are a retiree or a first-time buyer, maybe you're someone that says, you know what, I would never move to Ohio. I'd never move to, you know, Des Moines, Iowa, or, you know, one of these markets where you can still, you know, live somewhat affordably. I would never do it. You should still consider investing. You should still consider, you know, how you're going to make a move to get ahead, to, you know, combat the rising cost of living. Inflation is going to continue to get worse, and incomes are going to be, you know, falling. You know, it's not going to be overnight, but I think gradually we're just going to see incomes continuing to go down as AI, automation, and job outsourcing continues to grow, and we witness companies start to cut expenses at a much faster rate because of the high borrowing costs. You got 2.1 or 2.2 trillion in just corporate debt that they have to refinance in the next 24 months. So they're going to refinance from 3% to 7%. And what are they going to do, right? If consumers are spending less, they're going to continue to lay off jobs. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So invest in the future. Put yourself in a really, really good spot, and your family will thank you forever. if you are thinking about investing, maybe you'd like to invest, but you don't know what to do, where to invest. You don't have a construction crew, you don't have any of that. Go to singlefamilyinvestors.com. My crew is 17 people deep. 17 people. My main crew is 7, but they have another 10 that looking for work. They're very reliable and extremely affordable. Like in LA or one of these big cities, you're spending $250, $300 a day for labor. But because the really low cost of living out here, labor is about $120, $130 a day per guy. And they're reliable and they really, really, really want the work. They're very religious people. So, I mean, I was literally going in there to a property that is going to be finished Monday, and they were blasting Bible music, and they were just, they were having a good old time. They were just very grateful to have some money, spending money for the holidays, and their place looks great. I'm very pleased with the team, and very, very excited about these values that we're able to find out here. Right now, with the cold weather, less people are out here investing, so you have a smaller pool of buyers and more motivated sellers. And I think this presents a major window that wealth can be formed. And that's why I relocated my entire family here. So if you're interested in learning about cash flowing real estate, I have also access to wholesalers and real estate agents that are bringing us deals off market. The deal that I just helped the client of Single Family Investors close on is off market. It's not even actively listed. $87,000. I just bought a house 2 blocks over for $92,000. So, I mean, I literally have in the contract, like, hey, if you decide to cancel, you don't want to buy this property, I'm going to buy it. Like, I'm not just giving deals that I wouldn't buy myself. I'll literally buy the deal myself, because I mean, it makes so much sense from an inflation hedge. These properties, hypothetically, if it's 1,000 square feet, $150 a foot to build, $150,000 just to build it, plus the land, call it 200 grand all in. You're buying them for 70, 80. How do you lose? You get them for 30 cents on the dollar, and then you're getting the rent guaranteed by the federal government via Section 8. It's a slam dunk. It's the only one that I know of right now in the economy, inside of real estate. But let me know your thoughts. Let's have a conversation below. And if you'd like to learn about investing in Section 8 real estate, entry-level housing, book a call at singlefamilyinvestors.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Catch you next video.